Everybody has to go through the early days. Nobody escapes that. The big behemoth, super successful companies weren't always that way. They started in an apartment somewhere at some point in time.
In order for something to become big, it starts small.
Yeah, everybody only sees the success. We've mentioned this in many vlogs past. You generally only see the height and the success. You don't get to see the early days. But the early days, like, help you relate and realize, like, listen. Happening.
Welcome to today's vlog.
Where it's a beautiful weather. We're sitting outside. It's almost lunchtime.
Yeah, it's outside. It's beautiful here in Florida.
So today we just on Twitter, I just saw there's this guy I follow, and he always tweets sweet stuff about tech companies. And in 1999, on this day, Salesforce was founded in an apartment. It's just crazy because it literally shows the apartment and the picture of just these two guys sitting in the room, and it just kind of looks like somebody's bedroom. And now they have over 35,000 employees. Just talking about that journey, that is so awesome.
It's I don't know, it's really cool. I actually worked for a company. They ended up getting bought like while I left, or right when I was leaving, but they actually started in a laundry room at an apartment. Yep. And it was like these two young guys, and then they ended up selling for, millions of dollars. So it's so inspiring, aspirational when you see pictures like that and posts like that, which is kind of one of our motivations for doing this for you guys. To show you, in order for something to become big, it starts small.
Yeah, everybody only sees the success. We've mentioned this in many vlogs past. You generally only see the height and the success. You don't get to see the early days. But the early days, like, help you relate and realize, like, listen, everybody has to go through the early days. Nobody escapes that. The big behemoth, super successful companies weren't always that way. They started in an apartment somewhere at some point in time. And so you can do it too,
Heck yeah.
Brandy just made a stop and got us delicious. What are you working with over there?
I have a green detox. It is kale, spinach, celery, and coconut water.
Mine is carrot cake.
But it's like healthy. It's like a healthy carrot cake flavored smoothie. It's delicious.
It is super good. Mm-hmm. How's yours?
Let's try it.
Oh.
Yeah, tastes just about how I expected it to.
Good or no?
Yeah, it tastes like celery.
Let me give it a taste. Love some coconut. Oh, that's so good. Oh, so refreshing.
Delicious. It's a Friday treat.
It is. Alright, y'all. Here is literally one of our favorite snacks at Stardust. It's simple, but it's delicious tots.
Extra crispy is the way to go.
Extra crispy, extra seasoning, right?
Alright, we just got home. It's Friday. You guys can see like my super crazy tan lines from my run the other day. Anyways, something I wanted to touch on since we're talking about like entrepreneurship and what we see online, and that is, don't believe everything that you see on the internet, even on people's social profiles, because you are really only seeing 10% of what that person wants you to see, and it's hardly ever the nitty-gritty or the bad stuff. Keep that in mind, especially, I know everybody always says don't compare, and that's something I always say to people. I have to tell myself that all the time because it's hard to get stuck in the comparison trap. But just know that everybody goes through ups and downs, especially in entrepreneurship. It's literally like a freaking roller coaster. There are times where you're going to want to puke, and you probably will puke. And there are times where it's crazy fun and you're super, super high. Then there are, of course, the super, super lows. Trust me, I went through it, and it's exciting, and just always make sure that you know your worth and don't compare your journey to somebody else's. Something else I like is don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 22. Wise words.
Alright, one thing I was literally just thinking about earlier, which is your customers and the market will tell you when your product is ready. There's a lot of this concept around MVP, which I'm a total believer in, but our experience is that your customers give you feedback and say, man, I really need this feature, and I really need this feature. No matter how bad you would just want to force it, or you wish that it was enough, let your customers be the gauge and determining factor of when your product is actually ready, when you've actually achieved a valuable offering that people are willing to pay for. I just gave away the answer, which is how do you know when your product or offering is ready and it's viable enough to actually receive value? And that's literally when people are willing to pay for it. Hold on, because generally that's going to take actually longer than you expect, but work very closely and very aggressively with your customers to finally tune, add, remove, and do whatever you can so that your product gets to a point where it's actually valuable enough that they'll pay for it. I wish you could force it, wish you could just shove it, out there and say, hey, this is it, this is all I'm doing, you either want to pay for it or you don't. Well, the market's going to respond and say we don't. Use your customers to your advantage and embrace that principle, and they'll help you build something amazing. It's going to be a journey, but it's going to be the right journey and the right product in the end. So, to conclude today's vlog, when you're building a product or a service, the only way you're ever going to build something of value is if you let your customers define what that value is and you respond to it. It's your job to interpret it, but let them craft it from their needs, their pain points. There was somebody, the founder of Drift, said a really awesome thing. If you don't know, Drift is a technology platform, and it's in a very competitive space, and he said, the company that gets closest to their competitors is the company that will win. I truly believe that. I think keep that in mind for everybody building a product or kind of crafting a service.
100%.
100. What is that? One.
Like 0. You do the 1.
100.
And then the other thing that I mentioned, you guys, is don't always believe everything you see online. Make sure to always do your research yourself, and make sure you're always doing an honest representation of who you are as an individual and as a company. So if you guys like this, thumbs up, and of course subscribe to our channel below. Bye guys, see you tomorrow.